everybody, it's Holly. This is my third time making this video, so hopefully this one works. Okay, so I'm making this to have a tutorial of how to build a test that's skill specific in City Island. We're making these summative assessments, these benchmark reports, so I want to show you how to do that for a particular skill, and it's a lot easier than you think. Maybe you're just not familiar with it. So this is the main page that I land on when I'm on City Island, and it's the teacher page. This is what I see from my perspective. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to Built Test Library here on that left-hand side. I'm going to go to that page. I don't have any tests built besides the two that I already built, but you're not going to have any built, and there's none in the library. So you're going to go to the right-hand side here, and you're going to click Build a Test. I'm going to go and see what I was assigned. I already did author's perspective, evaluating arguments. Now I'm going to create an assessment on the skill of context clues. So I'm going to make that the title of my test. And if you were really giving this to a student and you wanted to give them additional information, you could include that here. I'm going to click Next at the bottom right-hand corner and go to Questions. So I need to select from a program. I'm going to make it an Indiana program because we're going to do it on our state standards. And then in my directions, in my Google Hangout invite, I said we're going to start with 7th grade. So here on the left-hand side, I'm clicking 7th grade. And this is going to be English Language Arts because those are the skills we're focused on. I'm going to scroll down and show you that there's many skills that cover English. And they run the gamut from writing to reading fiction, nonfiction, vocabulary. So again, I'm going to work on reading context clues because that was the skill I was assigned. So I'm going to click context clues, and this is how I assigned everyone's skills just from that list below. Now it gives me two options. I can see assessment questions. So these are questions that students have not seen before in City Island. Or I can give them practice questions. These are where students, they've already seen these questions, they practiced with them. You can do a combination of both. It also gives you options for the question types. They have multiple choice questions, hot text questions in both of these. And the depth of knowledge, they go up to, I've seen 3. So level 1, they just have is like memorization. Level 2, skills and concepts, and then level 3 is more like application. It only gives me on this level 2, so I'm going to keep that depth of knowledge selected. These change depending on what skill you're working with. I've seen like 6 different types of questions, and then I've seen all 3 levels or 4 levels of depth of knowledge. So these are going to change. Again, I can do a combination of questions that they haven't seen and questions that they have seen. So I'm going to click on assessment questions because this is more of an assessment. And if I scroll, I can see how many questions there are. There are 7 questions that students have not seen. And it tells you at the top what level it's at. Since there's only one depth of knowledge level here, level 2, it's only going to give you 2. So the goal is to read over these questions and kind of see like, okay, I'm going to try to pick a good mix of questions, right? So I'm going to pick this question because it's a little longer, but maybe I don't choose this one because it's equally long, right? Maybe I have this question here. And again, please read through it and then you can play around with it a little more. So I have 4 questions added. It tells me that on the left-hand side. And again, this is an assessment. We want to see what they learned, but maybe you also want to add some practice questions. And then these are all the practice. They're given like 49 practice questions for context clues, which is crazy, right? So let's see. Where did I leave off? Here we go. Practice questions. So again, maybe I want to add a couple questions that they have seen before. We could debate that because I would say that, again, we maybe want a more authentic look at what they know and don't know. but it just depends on the student and I think kind of what we decide to do. But I'm just going to add a couple more assessment questions that they haven't seen, and maybe one more that they have seen before. And again, just because they've seen it doesn't mean maybe that they were paying attention, maybe they were clicking through it. So now I have 10 questions. I have a mix of questions that are from the practice that they've seen, and then a mix of questions that they've never seen before. So I'm going to click Save Selections, but also here they give you the lesson for context clues if you want to maybe look at that or review that before you give the assessment. There's another place where you can find this too. That's in a tutorial I already linked for you. So I'm going to click Save Selections. If I scroll down to the bottom, it's going to say Save and to Library and Exit. I'm going to click that. Now it's in my library. I want to show you a little more of what this could do though. So here's context clues in my library. These are the 3 assessments I've created. I can go here to this pencil and edit the test. I just want to show you the different features it has. I've already saved it, so it's not going to affect what I've built. But after you go to the questions at the bottom, this feature doesn't appear anymore. Oh, I guess it does. Save to Library and Exit. Or you can click Create Assignment Now. When you click that, just for future knowledge, you can have a due date, start and an end date. You can also allow students to see the questions they've missed, randomized questions. That's really nice, especially when you're working in a small group, if they're taking it at the same time. You can also enable a scratch pad and a highlighter. And then if you click Next again, if you've made a class in Study Island, you can assign your class or your group that assessment. So if you could click it, hit Save and Exit, and it would assign your students that with all of the assignment information that you've chosen. So that's my quick tutorial on how to build a test in Study Island. I hope that was really helpful, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Kimberly Marshall from Tech is also a great resource, but I look forward to hearing from you guys on Wednesday and seeing kind of what you thought about the questions that Study Island has and what you thought about this experience. So good luck, and I will see you Wednesday.